Hello everybody, today I'm going to be talking about Ninja Turtles, that being the episode Metalhead. It came out 10 years ago technically. So it's about Donnie's getting tired of using his bow staff as a weapon, and they get into like a big Krang fight, or just fighting the Krang, and I love the line where Raph is just like, there's a marching band where it's going to need a majorette, which he's referring to a bunch of Krang. And then when Donnie tries to hit a Krang with his bow staff, he just says, I hate this thing. But then after the fight, after he gets his stick broken apart, even when it gets fixed, when he goes back to the lair, he's just like, he's done. Then he decides to go advance and build a Krang droid into Metalhead. Now, Metalhead, he was in the 80s show. He was built by Krang, and he basically was like a nurse droid. At the end, he was meant to destroy the turtles, but then the turtles reprogrammed him. And basically it's basically like turning a Krang into a robot, even though originally in the show, it was Krang who built the machine, the robot. Confusing, I know. But Metalhead's quite the handful. Even when Mikey thinks he's so adorable, Metalhead just goes full beast mode on him. Even when they try to fight him, Mikey and Leo, I love the part where they're just pulling out their weapons and just start hitting him to death, and then boom, Metalhead just takes them down, and then even Raph himself. And they don't like Metalhead very much. So And Splinter thinks he did quite a unique machine. And so, yeah. And then, but Splinter doesn't want Metalhead to be out on patrol and stuff. Like fighting bad guys, basically. But Donnie just tests this out anyway, because he's just like, why not? And then the Turtles then meet up with April, who's also dealing with Krang herself. And then basically the Turtles find a Krang lab, and then Donnie is being a little bit creepy by zooming in on April while she's there. She just like stares at her and just goes, ooh. And then April basically just hears it, and Donnie's just like freaking out. He even eats Mikey's last slice of pizza. And Donnie, I just like it where Mikey just goes, hey, and then he kicks Metalhead, and then it hurts. And, the rest of the episode is, the turtles are endangered, and then, Metalhead just swoops in, but then things go well. He's, like, trashing the Krang, he's shooting him with the metal cannons he has, and then, and then the turtles that, I don't know, they basically now have to fight Metalhead because one of the Krangs that possess Metalhead, causing Donnie to lose his signal. He's just like bummed. Even before, Metalhead wasn't perfect. He even fell into a trash can when Donnie's trying to control him, and he's like super noisy. And then Donnie's just, and then Splinter's just like, the time for games are over. And then Donnie gets staff, and then, and the rest of the episode is just him fighting Metalhead, and he takes him down, and he basically drops like a pipe on him, and then the stick then stabs in the Metalhead, and then he shuts down, and even a Krang lands on Donnie's face, and even says Booyakasha. And I just love the line where Mikey's just like, it sounds weird when he says it. And then Raph is just like, it sounds even weirder when you say it. And so, And then Donnie, it seems like Donnie learned his lesson, but not really. He turned his stick into a missile, and then the episode ends in a comical way. So, this episode wasn't as good as New Friends, Old Enemies, or the other episode, the Baxter Stockman episode, but this episode was fun for sure. It gave Donnie some character, like how he wants to be more than just the guy with the stick. And it definitely had the most memorable lines in this episode. So I'd give this episode like a high 7 out of 10. So, have you seen this episode? I have quite the memories of it. Just watching it on TV and then watching it on DVD. So, yeah. I don't know what the next episode is. I think it's Monkey Brain. I think that's with Dr. Rockwell in our first appearance of the Rat King, but he isn't Rat King yet. But yeah, I can't wait to talk about that episode. So next week, but thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time in Turtle Power.